Okay, I think the screen is visible now, so we'll just get started straight away.
Okay.
So, let's flip it. So this is the line which we need to check. And at first, I thought we will definitely check the lines which used to bother you. Yeah, I mean, which by your style, which might bother you, let's say. So the first thing that came to my mind is knight c3, e6, and g4 systems.
Yes.
So this one, I mean, okay, this is definitely one of the most trickiest way to play as white. And also if black does not know what he's supposed to do, things might, really get bad, yeah, in this situation. So bishop g6
Yeah.
is forced, knight ge2, pretty much normal. And here is the key move actually in this position. We can actually go c5 here. So this move pretty
Mhm.
much solves all black's problem in this position because after h4, I mean, this is the only problem, right, where we are worried about. Knight f4 right now is not that big of a problem. I think we can just take it.
Yeah.
And then just go to knight c6 and things are looking fine for us. So h4, this is the only move which can try to create some problems.
Yes.
H4 is met with h5. And knight f4, we just go back bishop h7. So practically we give up the pawn quite early here. So at
Okay.
first
So
I
he takes
thought,
it.
yeah, so at first I thought, is it like really necessary? Because we are, I mean, at the end of the day, we can say we are like down a pawn or something.
Mhm.
But apparently, like there is a lot of good play after knight c6. So black does not have to worry about anything, just knight c6. And I checked this position, and obviously a lot of games has been played in this position. Pretty much I found black is scoring very nicely in this one, and like lot of good wins from black side as well are available here. And we can obviously discuss all the games, but the main game which well I'll put it here actually. So this was the main game where I saw a lot of nice black's ideas. So just this position and bishop b5, cd4, queen d4, knight e7.
Can you do me a favor, analyst, and flip the board for me?
Ah, yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
So
back
I'll
again. Go
go
back.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knight c6, and so there are obviously some lines which I will give you in detail with dc5, bishop b5, but I just want to highlight black's idea here. So bishop b5, cd4, queen d4, knight e7. So black is having that edge pawn missing, but I think because of it, black is getting also very good developing moves, and white is really not gaining anything by the edge pawn. And in this game, it was a bit strange because after a6, white decided to go bishop a4. It was a bit tricky. I mean, it was just like slightly not understandable, yeah. But I just thought he has some compensation ideas or something because b5 now wins the piece straight away.
So you took with the knight.
Yeah, so he took with the knight, takes bishop b5 and queen b8. So when I first looked at the position, I thought right now if bishop a4 happens one more time, I was pretty sure black is going to take on a4.
Mm-hmm.
So just take on a4, like if bishop a4, probably. So just rook a4, queen a4, queen e5, followed by queen b2, and black is like getting a lot of material.
Yeah.
So I just think now queen c5, queen e5, and rook c8 defends everything. all that was remaining is to convert this position, which black obviously easily did it. But I mean, is there actually anything happening here? Because I just thought white was bluffing with this sacrifice, to be honest.
Can we go back to when he first took back on B5 for the bishop?
You mean here?
Yeah, here. B5 takes. So knight takes. Queen B8. Okay, so threat is if he okay, so let's just say he plays, I don't know. 2 is hanging also.
Yeah.
Say he just takes the knight.
Takes, I just take back and nothing changes, yeah? So your queen is hanging and anyway these two pawns are hanging.
Okay. Okay, go back again to before when him playing bishop a4.
Yeah.
What if he had just taken the knight here on c6?
Yes, so this is the most natural move which I thought should have been played. We take, of course, with the knight. And this also looks pretty promising for us. So where do you plan to put the queen at? Because I have the possibility to recover the pawn anytime I want.
So I mean, I guess the only way to protect it is queen a4 right now, right?
Yes, queen a4,
Oh,
queen
then
e3 loses to d4, yeah.
and also actually I just realized e5 is hanging too.
Yes, so queen a4, I'll play b5. That's the plan. And now e5 is hanging. So it just seems that black has really good play in this line. I mean,
So there's basically what you're saying is there's not really any good way for white to hang on to the pawn, like black's getting something back.
yes, exactly. So basically, this line itself is, I mean, black has like really good practical results even after knight c6. I'll just have
So
a
what's
yeah, sorry.
I was gonna ask, what's black's long-term plan in terms of the king? But where the king is gonna stay in the center in that
For most of the time,
setup?
yes, the king stays in the center.
And how do we get that bishop out, the dark square
The
bishop?
dark side, actually, the main line in this position is
You sacrifice g7, right?
yeah, d takes c5, and generally black plays bishop c5 here. Now this is just I mean, as I said, this is just like one of the lines, yeah, you can say. So it's not necessary that we go for it, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the recommended lines, and well, lot of good games also we have. So if you want, we can go for it. If not, I mean, of course, I'll try to find some alternatives. But knight g7 here is not exactly very great because of king f8, knight h5, and d4. So the game is so dynamic that well, white has to find now some very accurate moves like knight b1 and stuff to play the position. Uh, Overall, I don't see any point why we should avoid it also. I mean, yeah, this definitely looks a bit new for you, but I think since all the squares are defended, and if we manage to win some material, I think things should be okay for us.
Can I see the engine evaluation of this position real quick, if you don't mind?
Sure, let's go for it. Well, it shows 0.6 in black's favor.
Like, this is obviously not the type of position I would enjoy playing, but if I have no choice but to get led into this, then we have to do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because I mean, see, we are facing a dilemma kind of thing. Like, we can prepare bishop f5, but bishop f5, knight c3, e6, and then this is kind of a forcing line, you can say.
So going back, instead of e6, it doesn't make any sense to play like h5 or something, right?
No, I think then he will just play something like bishop d3, and I don't know. I mean, if h5 is like extremely necessary here or not, you can try h5. There is no problem. I don't see any strong players have played it, but yeah, apparently there are some games. So and the computer likes it.
Hmm.
So maybe
So
you want to stick to h5 in this.
I mean, like h5 would probably prevent this whole kingside pawn storm thing at least, right?
For h5, I'm very sure they will go bishop d3, and we just trade the things and play e6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is for sure happening. So now the question is how exactly black develops here. So just c5, the usual way.
I guess, yeah, right? Because I mean, if queen b5,
Queen b5, we have queen d7. So
hmm. And if after c5 he takes it, then we just play knight c6 or something?
knight c6, yeah.
And then how do we plan to recover the pawn?
Well, we can always take bishop c5, and if you defend, if you somehow try to hold on to it, I can play queen a5 or queen c7, and try to take on e5 as well.
Got it. So in this case, in this setup, where will the black king go typically?
I think again we need to keep it first on the center. But here I think the moment we get some knight e7, knight f5 stuff, we can play bishop on e7 and short castle as well. It's not necessary, but I think we can do it. I see knight d7 is like one of the lines in this position, but c5 looks more attractive here to me. So we'll check just dc5. So first of all, why not directly we can capture? Queen b5, knight d7. And I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
it will give us a lot of compensation.
Right.
If he manages to grab this pawn, I think so. Probably rook b8 or even yeah, rook b8 looks fine, and just knight e7 in. Some knight g6 is coming, and well, there are certain problems. The computer even doesn't want to play rook b8. Computer wants to play knight e7. Wow. So it's basically leaving the queen here.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, black is better developed, I guess.
Yeah. So I think at least we can keep this c5 like some sort of a preparation, yeah, from our side.
Yeah, I didn't play c5. Is there anything else? Like, could I go for just knight a7, knight f5, bishop
Yes, there is
c7?
knight d7. There is, of course, knight e7, which is like the most standard move in the position. Black also has knight h6, which seems to be also working fine. So pretty much I mean, you can get a pretty decent position, like a regular Caro Kann position with the move h5.
What's the idea of a quick c5? Like, why did you emphasize that?
Because I don't want him to move the knight to e2, like the Nigel short game, and play c3, yeah?
Okay.
So any slow moves if I play, so white should go knight e2 here. So that c5 and c3 happens. So whenever this happens, I usually prefer like one knight on c6. Only then it makes sense to
Yeah.
have the c3, cd4, cd4. So here I have to again get this guy. But then he
Right.
comes bishop g5, I guess. And for queen b6, well, it seems white is now much better developed, and well, things are maybe not that bad for white, but still not that great as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it just looks like white has completed his development and everything is fine. So, and also Okay, I mean, here I think the bigger question is like what next, you know? I mean, what exactly black should do here?
Right. Yeah.
So this is probably like a more difficult question because even if you put the knight on f5 and play bishop e7, I think probably he will take. So you have to take back with the knight if you want to castle, and castling will always have this knight e5 threats.
Hmm.
So I don't know if we want to go for this one. Probably much better is to play c5 actually in this position.
I see. Yeah.
So for c5, if white tries some normal stuff like this, I think now I can take it.
So, okay. So main idea is just to quickly break up that white center as quickly as possible
Yeah.
and make sure he doesn't get in c3.
Yep. This looks
Will
fine.
will white try a quick c4 in these scenarios to try to take advantage of this king in the center?
I don't think here c4 is that troublesome because I can always play knight 7, yeah, and forget about it.
And
Like
then play like
yeah, c4 lines are like bit tricky with the white bishop on the board. Without the white bishop, I think c4 can just be ignored because cd5 will be met with queen d5 or knight d5 at some point.
you're saying if he had the white bishop, it would be a lot more potent.
Yes, it will be more dangerous for black to deal with c4 because black's bishop is already on the other diagonal. Yeah. So
Yeah.
when c4 comes and cd5 happens, it won't be that easy for black to capture it with the queen because the presence of white's bishop means there will be some sort of an attack and you know well, gaining some tempo on the queen. So I don't think that is a big problem here. Okay, we can actually have a look at c4. So maybe first castles, yeah, and after 97 maybe c4. So in this position, yeah, I think yeah, it's just trading pieces here, and you can see yeah, he's
Mhm.
ignoring the c4 pawn, just rook c8, because this capture will always be fine for us, not like that problematic. So looks fine.
Mhm. Okay.
It's okay. We can stick to early c5 in this line. So shall we keep h5 as the main option here instead of e6 and all the complications?
I think so, right? It's giving us more, I don't know, like
Caro
more
Kann.
tame positions than like yeah, I kind of prefer this than dealing with this scenario with the knight h5 stuff.
Okay.
And it'll throw off a lot of people. The people that want to quickly do that, they'll be confused by it.
Yeah, that's
Like
that's
people
for,
that want to play g4, knight f4 stuff.
yeah, that's for sure. Okay, maybe we have a look at the some strange.
This h5 isn't. I feel like it's not that common at my level of chess. I
Uh,
don't think most Caro Kann players will be playing h5, honestly.
yes, h5. No, people will just know e6 in this position.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So it kind of gives me a chance to throw the opponent off their preparation a little bit too.
Yeah, technically yes. I mean, why not? And it's also very logical, yeah, to just play h5. So, I mean, I'm just trying
Mhm.
to compare it with this one. So I'll just create a rough one right now. So basically, in this line, when when this happens, so for f4, the move is h5 anyway. So this is actually one
Mhm.
of the lines which black used to play in the Caro Kann g6 setup. And black's idea is to play knight h6 and make a strong hold on the line. So I just have a feeling that if in this position h5 is actually the main line, we can actually check the explorer here. Yeah, so you can see yeah, h5 is the main line in this position.
Mm-hmm.
So if this h5 is good, I'm pretty sure the previous h5 should also be fine.
How many people play h5? Can you go back one move real quick?
Here.
Yeah, so h5 is where, okay, the fourth most popular move. Interesting. So a lot of people are playing it. Hmm.
I'll just have a check. Um, so just give me 1 second. I'll just run a database check on ChessBase so that I mean maybe we're missing out something, yeah. But I actually think we're not.
Looks like white is winning most of the time, though. Doesn't seem to score.
Um, that is game percentage. Not that much worried about it. I'm more interested in like what are the type of players who play h5. Like, do we have any reliable black player playing h5? That's the main thing. So I can
I
see
see.
that there is a guy Dotov. So he was like an old Russian grandmaster. He was specializing in h5, it seems, because he has a lot of games against strong oppositions with h5. The recent game I see is Nepomniachtchi playing against a Bariv, which was a very strange game. Okay, it was a rapid game, so can ignore it. And well, just by looking at it, it seems the scores are pretty okay for black as well.
Hmm.
So I do see
Yeah.
some, yeah, even some recent grandmasters are also playing it.
Yeah.
So maybe we stick to h5, and see how it is.
Okay, yeah. I'm willing to try it. I mean, it's not, it's not a move that's a concession in this position, I don't think, because black plays h5 in these lines all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I made the comparison. Yeah, if we can play h5 in this position after f4, h5 is like the main line.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure h5 here is also logical.
Yeah.
Plus now we don't have to worry about g4 or any of those stuff.
Yes. And by the way, if white plays bishop d3, I'm happy with that, like I feel like this light square bishop is the trouble piece in the Caro.
Yes. I mean,
I'm happy to get rid of that
actually,
anytime.
bishop d3 is not that bad from white's point of view also, but it all depends if white is able to play e6 or not here. Because if white manages to play e6, then white will be considered very good. But we are playing e6 on our own, so blocking
Hmm.
everything and then just going for c5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this I mean also looks pretty okay, and I don't see anything wrong with this. So maybe we can stick to this one.
Hmm. All right. All right. Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Um, so I'll just give you some games that this Dr. guy has played. You can actually check. I mean, his play looks very normal and something like something which you would like too much. So you can just have a quick look at this game and just see
Okay.
how Black is developing and what ideas Black is using.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So what next lines we have? Well, this was the knight c3 g4 variation, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I think since we are choosing a more positional approach in this one, it should not be that difficult for us.
Yeah. Well, I won't know until I try it out.
Yeah,
With a few losses, I will know, how it's going.
yeah, okay.
Um, okay, let's look at a couple other ones then. So e4.
C6, d4, d5, e5, bishop f5. Okay, so there is this tricky knight
And
d2 as well here, which I also figured out that we should check. So obviously we just play e6. knight b3, and here is the key move a6. So this apparently is much better than the move c5. So it has to do something with the b5 square. So probably taking care of this square is much better. And this is also recommended in a lot of courses, by the way, the a6 move.
Okay, so the idea is just to sacrifice that pawn on c5, right?
Yes, actually, it's not never a sacrifice. I mean, for knight f3, we go c5, and if bc5, we go bishop c5.
Queen a5 check is coming.
So here, I think since black's light square bishop is also very strong and active, and well, we can probably give up the knight for the bishop. Yeah, like we can probably give up the dark square bishop for the knight. And black standard play looks very easy here. So just knight d4, I mean, knight e7, knight c6, and queen d6, something like that. And just short castle, play rook c8, rook d8.
Yeah, okay.
So this line I don't think should be giving you any trouble at all. Well, the position looks very, very good, and I also don't see like a lot of lost games for black. So
Yeah.
okay, perfect. So apart from knight d2, there is of course the move that we discussed last time as well, h4, yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, h4 used to bother me a lot for some unknown reasons. Like I was always struggling with this h4 move. So I think h4 we got to play h5, yeah.
Actually, before we move on from this, quick question. What
Mhm.
if black plays that whole idea of the kingside attack with g4 and knight e2 without playing knight c3?
Yes, that's another variation altogether. So we will be coming there as well.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So let me just. So okay. I mean, we'll just discuss h4 first and then go back to that line.
Sure.
So h4, h5 is pretty standard, I would say, and
Mm-hmm.
you will pretty much get like some similar looking positions here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one that we checked here, the dot of line with h5, I think there is a good chance that many positions might transpose here as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think h4, h5, and bishop g5 is the most complicated line. So here is my question, basically. Shall we go queen b6 and go for the pawn grabbing stuff, or we are trying to do something else here? Because
I
now,
think we should go queen b6, but not grab the pawn.
okay, so we should go queen b6, and after bishop d3, just ignore, yeah?
Yes.
So no queen d4, no queen b2 stuff, just take on d3.
Just take, yeah.
Takes and e6, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then c5 anyway, next move.
Yes. I'm basically playing like a, I don't know, French defense, French advance now,
Yeah, French advance
but I don't have the light square bishop, so.
without the light square bishop, yeah.
Mhm.
That's actually pretty much the strategical discussion in the Caro Kann advance, because all the players who play black, they enjoy Caro Kann positions more than the French positions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because French can be really tricky, yeah? Positionally bad, tactically good, and so many weird stuffs happening. So, but here I think it's more stable, more solid, and there are not a lot of well changes in the position. But yeah, we can stick to this one. I don't have any problems in recommending this line. I myself would also probably, like, you know, if I'm not prepared, I will also probably not go for well, any of these weird lines as well with queen b2.
Let's look at the pawn grabbing variations though, just so I can see like what would arise out of them.
Pawn grabbing ones. Well, pawn grabbing variations with queen to e4 are something like this: knight f3, queen g4, bishop f5, queen f5, castles, And the point is, if you go e6 right now, okay, white starts doing something out of the ordinary.
Okay, and if I play, I don't know, like say knight d7.
Okay, knight d7, so c takes d5.
E takes.
Yeah, well, e takes is fine. Actually, white is hoping for c takes d5 so that he can get knight c3 and knight b5.
Right.
But yes, e takes is fine, and e takes you must just check one thing, if e5 is possible, e6 is possible or not. As of now, I don't think that's possible. So,
If he did play it, I would just take it with the pawn, right?
yes, just one.
Well, I mean,
Fine.
I feel like,
Sorry.
yeah, I feel like black doesn't really have any major problems, right? I'll play king f7, some rook e8,
Yeah,
you
if
know,
we
knight
defended, we can.
f6.
Yes, exactly. We can just play bishop d6 after that, and black's position looks very good in the center at least.
Yeah.
So not
And
always he's forced to do this, by the way. So there are also some bishop d3 line where I said we can always opt for something much simpler with queen a6.
why was the computer recommending that queen takes d4 after bishop d3?
Because this is like grabbing a pawn.
Oh, then I take on e5 and grab the bishop. Okay, I see.
Yeah, that's so knight f3, that's why you play, and queen g4. And as we discussed here, takes on c4.
Okay, I gotcha.
So this is okay, but as I said, yeah, if you don't want to go into some weird stuff, you can just play queen a6 here. And okay, so this was the top game in this line, and just give it to you. So black has a pretty
So
play.
black wants to enter an endgame because he has the queenside majority or something, or he wants to take those light squares and keep
Light
that
squares,
white
yes.
castle.
I don't think we can call this a majority because pawns are not yet traded off. So
Hmm.
there are no majorities here, but I think the whole idea is to play knight a6 and e6, c5. So any endgame where black gets such positions, black is very happy to enter because there is no chance of kingside attack. So eventually these two moves feel, well, slightly unnecessary. If this is the thing which you wanted to do, why play h4 and bishop g5?
Yeah.
So I think this h4, h5 is also pretty okay, and we can stick to what we discussed right now. I don't
What
think here.
happens if I take the pawn on b2, by the way?
You mean on after bishop d3, queen b2?
That's a move, right?
Yeah. So here they take actually, and they play e6. And unfortunately, you don't even have time to play e6 on your own because they play knight d2 and knight e2. So development is complete. The queen feels already a bit restless here.
And white's not even up. I mean, white's just up a pawn, right? That's it.
I think the material should be equal. I mean, black should be
Oh,
up a
material.
pawn
Oh,
actually, but it's equal only.
yeah, this definitely doesn't look good.
Hmm.
If I'm gonna take a position like this, I need to be up at least a piece.
At least a piece, and still you need to prepare it like completely till the end, yeah. Because I really
Yeah,
don't trust any opening material when it comes to accepting these temporary sacrifices.
right.
Like I just feel that it is too much of an effort to remember like 30 moves, 35 moves of accurate defenses. And
Yeah,
then White will just give up his attacking style and make it a draw. Yeah.
yeah. It's almost never worth it, right? You're like pawn grabbing and giving tremendous activity hardly ever has worked for me personally. I've
Mm-hmm.
always lost those games.
Yeah. So there is probably no need to go into uncompromising positions like this. and just stick to c5. Yeah. So I think it's much better.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So we'll check the early g4 lines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The g4 straight away.
Yeah.
Okay, bishop e4.
Yes. I
So
believe
you
there's
have
also
to.
bishop d7 in this position. I mean, in
Yes,
this
bishop
previous.
d7. So this was like my personal choice. I just thought that if I have gone out, I should try and stay out the maximum I can.
Mm,
So I figured out that I can play this, provoke and weakness, come back here.
mm. I want to see this e6 idea. What's the point of that?
E6 here, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the most well-known line in this position.
So if I take, you'll play knight e2.
After e6, when you take on e6, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say it was like 90s. I mean, after white plays some h4 stuff. So h4, h5.
Wow.
So this is the position we play.
Okay.
So here I think
Definitely not.
the
Definitely not
king.
my cup of tea for sure. I would not prefer this position for black.
Okay. So then should we stick to bishop d7? But then
But
you
then I
remember,
get my bishop stuck on behind the pawn chain, right?
yeah, then you are getting inside the pawn chain. So,
Oh no, no, no! I can't have that. That's even worse.
so I think this is much better to uh
Yeah.
probably just prepare and play this one. It's much safer.
Yes, yes, because the bishop, yeah, getting it out will be a tricky job here.
Yeah.
If I play bishop d7 and e6, then I mean, white has made those concessions, I guess, like you said, but with the bishop stuck behind the pawn chain like that, I almost feel like it's hard to even take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually definitely a bit difficult as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
let's stick with this.
let's stick with this. Yeah. Okay. So here, the main game or the main line follows, of course, from Nepomniachtchi. So he goes h4 straight away without waiting further. And obviously, you don't want to play this so that this comes back. Just h6 and bishop d3.
Obviously, I don't want to play what, king d7? Is that a move here?
In this position after h4.
Yeah, didn't you show me king d7 or something for a second? Or
No, that was a different position. That was with h4, h5, bishop d3, and now we can go king d7, yeah, at any time.
so like why king d7? The king is just coming to what, like c8 or something?
No, well, if he gives queen g6 check, we have to play king d7, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
So I mean, I'm not doing it like straight away. I'm expecting queen g6 to happen. So
Right. Okay.
okay, perfect. So do we have well, I think that's pretty much covers all the white's move, yeah, after bishop e2 and bishop f5.
So this position, show, can we continue this a little bit? Like, give me some of the ideas for what I need to do here. Where's my king going? Like, what, you know, what's my main
Um,
plan?
in this position, I will still stick to queen d6. So this looks absolutely fine. And white usually plays knight e2. So just to explain you what would happen if knight c3 comes, I think I actually know that pretty much they will allow us to play e5 here.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think you have already solved majority of the problems.
Yeah. Interesting.
Knight e2 is met by knight d7, and bishop f4 is met by e5.
Wow.
We are not so much worried about this actually. Thanks to the pawn on e7, this cannot be pinned anymore, but this is still a pin. I mean this one. So queen c3, d4. So knight d4 is not possible. I'll take your queen.
Right.
So yeah, it seems black is fine here, yeah, after long castles.
Yeah.
At least it looks that way. I don't see
Can we go
also.
back and look at this one more time? I just want to know when I need to push e5.
Sure. So this happens from the bishop f5 and g4 lines, where we need to play bishop e4, get
Yeah.
basically weaken this, come back.
So hold on, 1 second, 1 second. So what if he plays knight f3?
In this position,
Yes.
I think just e6.
Then we don't have any problems anymore at all. Well, actually, okay, so e6, then he tries. Oh, I guess if in this case, if he ever plays knight d2 or c2, we can just take the knight on f3 at the very least, right?
At the very least, you can always take on f3 and play a position without that bishop, or you can just come back bishop g6 as well.
Actually, I'm realizing if I take on f3, it may be a little tricky because he still has his light square bishop with the pawn on e5, which means,
So,
kingside attacking chances, right?
mhm. So
So
we can
maybe I
skip
don't want
that.
to give up that bishop so quickly to the knight.
Yeah, then we will just retreat back after anything he plays. We'll just retreat back. See the original line. White was able to capture a bishop like this, but now it has already come to f3. So no knight h4, no nothing is available.
Right. Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
So I would say this looks pretty okay. So we keep bishop e4, yeah, for this one, or we need to look at bishop d7 as well.
No, I mean we can look at it, but I already kind of know what's gonna happen with that. Like I'm gonna have to play c5 and the bishop will be stuck for a while behind the pawn chain.
So better to just keep it here, yeah, and come back.
I have realized that I absolutely hate the idea of trapping in the bishop, so I would do almost anything before I do that. Like it's just like a long term, almost like playing with some sort of handicap. It just takes such a long time to find some way to get the bishop out in these
Mhm.
positions.
And sometimes you have to forget about it and do your other stuffs while
Mm-hmm.
realizing that you have a bad bishop and
Mm-hmm.
kind of act like as if it's nothing bad. And
Yes.
I have seen actually, I mean, I have actually faced some games also where that c8 bishop becomes a big problem, and even in the simplest of simplest end games, yeah, like a knight versus bishop end game.
Yeah.
And that bishop is like so helpless, so it's actually pointless to go for this e6 one. But here we have two choices from white. One is to play directly e6, one is to go to h4 and then try to go e6. Knight e2 here, we are not so much worried because of this move's availability.
Okay, I see.
So now the moment he plays this, we will go h5, and we pretty much, you can say, kind of like transposed into the other position just without the knight on c3. Yeah?
Yes. Why
Here,
is the computer recommending 97, by the way? Yeah.
yeah,
Curious.
this is actually the line, and I think the only point is now if you go bishop h7, he goes knight h5, and now c5 is met with Probably C3.
Oh, because he hasn't committed the knight on c3.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But even here, I remember we have this bishop G6 idea and rook H4.
I see.
It's kind of okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
now knight E7 solves also a lot of problems. So take
And we
this.
just give up that bishop if he wants to take it?
If he takes, we take. Yeah. So here the point is actually not with the bishop, but with the H4 pawn.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, white is doing not that great also, you can say.
Interesting. Yeah.
So this actually brings me to the previous session, I mean, the previous line that we checked here. So instead of H5, going for this line, yeah. So can we insert knight E7 at this point?
So if he does play, if he plays knight b5?
Okay, so that's the problem, yeah.
We have to play knight c8, right?
But then we lose this one.
Mm,
So this cannot be good.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this is no. So that's the whole point. Yeah, in this line, I think let's stick to H5. Okay, let's just stick to H5 at this point.
Okay.
So I mean, even here we are going for H5, right? So let's just stick to this one.
Okay.
So early H5 because now I mean, even for me, this was the realization that now with the knight being not on well B1, it's on C3, so that has some additional problems. And in the line
Yeah.
that we just checked here, so here the knight on B1 is giving us some other positional problems. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, we have to like take into considerations these small differences and understand them. If we understand them, then it's fine. Like if your opponent plays something, you will figure it out. Like, okay, this is the way to play.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was, I think, is that it? That's all the sharp variations, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
yeah, these are all the sharp variations, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So maybe we can keep the positional ones, for the next time, yeah, and
Yeah.
discuss all the ideas because positional ones, I'm pretty sure we don't have enough time for today.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, Rafi, what do you think about the responses to the sharp lines? Are you okay with going for the
I think
completion
so.
all the time, or these lines are fine? Because H5 is like one of the safest way to play in that position. That's for sure. Instead of going
Yes.
for this E6 and all the sacrifice lines, just H5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall I feel a little bit better looking at this than the C5 stuff. So I think, I
Mhm.
mean, I'll have to play. I'll have to play this, try this, and see how it does, and then decide if I want
Switch to this
to,
one.
switch to this or keep that C5. It's almost like they're both kind of evil. Like, Caro Kann, I mean, it's solid, but it always comes with these white having some sort of like, I don't know, grip, as part of the nature of it.
Yeah.
So especially the advanced variation gives me trouble no matter what. So I think
Which
it's just a
which
picking
one?
of the lesser of the two poisons.
Which one? Which one? By the way, which variation?
The advanced variation of the Caro has always given me problems, like
Ah,
regardless of what I put against it.
okay. Yeah. Actually, the most
Anytime
problem.
there's a Mhm.
I think the most problematic line is knight d2. But since the development of knight f6, a lot of black players who are playing the Caro Kann, they are changing to that line. So just create a new chapter. So this line we obviously have gone through it. So this is actually the most concrete way of playing against the Caro Kann.
This
But
gives me no problems at all.
because we are playing this one, yeah, knight f6.
Power, yeah, this is fine, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, so just because of this knight f6, I think knight f6 is very easy to remember and understand. And not all the players at your level even have seen this. Plus, they will obviously go for um, capturing and all. So, like they just capture the knight, and then they automatically play the moves. Yeah, so they kind of tend to also make a lot of mistakes in this one.
Even if they don't capture it, even knight g3, I have not had any problems. I play h5 and
H5, H4, yeah,
almost always get good positions out of it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is fine. Like this knight f6 line is fine as well. Uh,
Hmm.
So that means the other problematic line can be either this one, which can try
The
to give
Panov,
us,
yes.
yeah, or the e5 one, obviously.
Yeah, I think e5 is the most problematic, and Panov would be the second most problematic for me.
Yeah, that is actually true. Actually, e5 in general, I never even like worry about e5, but I am more worried about the lines he chooses after e5.
Mm,
So like after I get this done, I really don't have a lot of problem. But this is the moment, yeah. Like I will be constantly worried about that
right.
e6 break, and there are some early lines with c4 and stuff. So
Yes.
I'm more focused on those things. If you play the
Yeah.
main line against me in this one, I'm pretty okay with that. I will be happily playing it with black.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Like when I see knight f3, I get very happy. Like black has no problems after that.
Yeah. So I think yeah, we can keep the knight f3 variation like towards the end of our Caro Kann discussion. Uh,
Mhm.
this one is I mean I think today's session was like more about how to deal with these weird stuffs, yeah, like all these strange variations.
Yeah.
So for h4 we stick with h5, and for bishop g5 we go queen b6 here. This is for sure, and we don't voluntarily take any of these pawns. We trade
Right.
and remember the queen a6 line. Okay.
Okay.
For g4 are we sticking to bishop e4?
Yeah, let's stick with that for right now.
Okay, so bishop e4, and after this, okay, so just come here, and
Hmm.
e6 we just take it. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, this looks fine, man. There is no problem.
Okay. I'll try it out in some games and let you know
Sure.
how I feel about it so far.
Yes, so I think the only thing now pending is like we have a lot of well, we have actually a lot of collection of opening material. It's
Hmm.
more about how much practical experience are we able to get in those lines.
Yeah.
So once we do that, I think this will be like a good sort of preparation, you can say.
Yeah. No, I feel significantly better about my openings ever since we started this. Much, much, much better. My other coach also told me like I've gotten much more sound with my openings
Okay.
recently.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good overall.
That's
At
good.
least I don't feel helpless. Like I'm not losing games out of the opening. If you look at my games I'm playing online
Yeah.
on the religious rapid games,
Mhm.
hardly ever am I losing games straight out of the opening. It's almost always a middle game or end game mistakes.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And
Mhm.
also it feels pretty good, when you go into a line and you have some ideas about it and you have seen the moves, previously. You
Yeah.
you somehow negate that shock factor, yeah. So it feels
Yeah.
also pretty okay to, play a position which you have seen it over the board at your home or in your preparation.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I- yeah, so I think this systematic way of checking the variations and basically discussing them, because a lot of coaches they will straight away give the lines, and
Yeah.
it's like you have to play it. But I was never ever training like that. In fact, I did not like it also if somebody was training the same way.
Right, because chess is a lot like there's so many different things that work. It's just about what you feel you can handle, like the type of things that you like. You
Yes,
know, like
yes.
there's a lot of like we looked at so many moves that are objectively the best move, but it doesn't matter if something is objectively good or bad as long as if you don't feel comfortable playing it. I think it's kind of dumb
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
play it, you know?
exactly. Exactly. I mean, even if like it's not about like having a sharp repertoire or like a positional one. It's more about the things that you have learned as your fundamentals, and if you're able to
Mhm.
stick to them or not, you know. So
Yes, yeah.
I always feel pretty comfortable if the position is, I mean, if I know some very weird theory, that's different. But if I'm playing with somebody unknown and I have like zero preparation, I never want to go into an opening where I have to always find those accurate one moves and only then try to do something. I
Mm-hmm.
prefer to play a more general position. Like for example, so you know the poison pawn variation, right, in the Sicilian. So
Uh,
there is this knight of variation, and in this one they have this bishop g5 line. So in this line, black plays this variation. So this is one of the main lines. Even if you check the opening explorer, you'll see like thousands of games have been played here.
mm-hmm.
And the resulting position that we get is something like this. And this is where the variation starts to branch out a bit. But more likely, I'll say the gist of the position is something like this here. So we play h6, bishop h4, and g5. Now, even if I prepare this line, you know, for a very long time, I would always be, you know, not the happiest person if I play this position as black or even as white, to be honest.
Because why? Because it's you have to be so accurate.
Yeah, you have to be so accurate and till a very long time.
Yeah,
So it's like one inaccuracy and the game is lost. Yeah.
yeah.
So and also you know like if we follow the moves a little bit, so let's just look at the type of position they're getting here. So when I see this position, I obviously you know just check the computer evaluation, yeah, and the computer says zero. So my question
Mm-hmm.
is, if black is like couple of pawns up, why this is zero? And second thing is, how exactly is this king looking safe here? Now
Yeah.
I know that there is no forced win and this is like a proven draw and everything, but I will always be slightly, well, not slightly, actually, I'll be extremely reluctant to enter into this position on my will.
This sounds like a nightmare to play from the black side, honestly. Like, I don't understand
Yeah,
it either.
so exactly. So that is my point. So if I give you this position as black, and if I give you, let's say, you know, this position as black, yeah, so you will probably have like more safer games in this one than in the other line.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I give you some main lines here, I'm pretty sure like you can at least play some logical moves, right? So let's just say if we get to this position, and this
Mm-hmm.
is where you have to play as black, you will find at least something logical. Even if you don't, or if you even if you never have any idea about the e4 e5 lines, you will
Yeah.
still be okay. If you play 10 games, you will not lose all 10 of them, but in the night of one, I will be actually, you know, I myself might lose 10 games out of 10 if I don't know the lines in this one,
Mm-hmm.
because this is so tricky and so weird.
Yeah.
So I usually prefer to, I mean, this is again, as you said, yeah, like chess has so many things. This is one of the thing which I believe if I'm playing some opponent in the first round, I really
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go into a very deep opening preparation. Yeah, I should have something where I can easily outplay him or you know outmaneuver him or something like that.
Yeah,
Because here it's
for sure.
already like an opening discussion, and I don't want to have that discussion with a lower rated player as early
Yeah,
as in the tournament. So,
right.
so I think, yeah, I mean, keeping those things in mind, you can actually, I mean, I can actually vouch for this H5 idea. I mean, it's first of all, it's not a very uncommon idea. People have been playing H5 in these advanced structures, and this establishes stronghold, yeah, on the light squares as well. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of you know going into that, we can actually stick to H5 here.
Got it. Makes sense.
Okay. Okay, perfect, Rafi. I think then we can finish for today, and
Okay.
well, I will give you the materials and stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's it from my side.
Okay, I got another thing to discuss if you want to stop the recording.
Yes, 1 second.
Okay.